Last episode, we explored the potential that a plains village had in our world, with 2 different buildings, each with a detailed interior, a stack of hay bales, some mobs, and that classic indented pathway road. Today, I'd like to hop over to the other side of the display and start building a flower forest. The flower forest is actually my favorite biome in the game, mainly due to its rich grass color and beautiful assortment of flowers. I tend to build in them when I create Minecraft worlds, so what are we waiting for? Let's get to building. Due to the organic nature of today's module, I felt like I was able to freestyle it more than the previous module. I didn't really have to look at an in-game reference picture. I figured adding a big body of water would add some contrast to the otherwise primarily green and brown of this module, so I decided to add a large water feature that I intend to become a section of a lake that will eventually merge into a river. I wanted very much to make today's build more terrain heavy, and I wanted to add a little bit more verticality than the previous build, so I actually added the foothills of what will later evolve into a mountain. You'll also note that I added a little waterfall. These tend to be generated in Minecraft from time to time, and although they aren't usually as dramatic as real waterfalls, they can still look pretty, such as the one I built here. After the build was tiled off, I added in 1 oak and 1 birch tree, but I still wanted to add in 1 more tree, so I created the fancy oak variant of oak tree, a type that you don't see very often, but one that I always find very fascinating every time I encountered it in-game. Flower forests tend not to be densely populated with trees, but I featured 1 more tree here at the edge of the module. Well, it's not quite alive. These fallen oaks have a chance to generate in Minecraft Bedrock Edition, and I find them really cool, so I replicated them here, and I put vines growing on the trunk. I was now faced with the daunting task of populating this forest with flowers. Did you guys realize that a whopping 14 different flower types spawn in this biome? I was able to replicate 13 of them. The only one I couldn't figure out was the Oxy Daisy. If anyone knows of a minifigure scale Lego Minecraft Oxy Daisy design, please let me know. I'm working digitally, so any and all existing parts are accessible to me. Ordinarily, the process of adding vegetation to a build takes no more than 2 to 3 minutes, but in this case, it took about 20, between figuring out the designs for all the flowers and then laying them all out in places that accompanied one another, all the while avoiding any collisions between each flower. It was a difficult task, but the results proved that it was worth it. This actually only leaves us with one last thing to do, and that is populate this place with mobs. As you can probably guess, Stud.io does not have the Lego Minecraft rabbit mold in its part portfolio, because why should they? So I spent more time than I am going to admit trying to create a rabbit figure. I'm actually pretty proud of the result, though. You can definitely tell what it's supposed to be. These guys tend to spawn in pretty often in the flower forest. I also implemented a beehive and some bees. Again, the bee print isn't available in Stud.io, but honestly I'm fine with that. They still look like bees. You'll note I've also included a light gray sheep next to a white sheep. Even though the light gray sheep doesn't exist in real life, I've included it because I believe one day the LEGO team will release a light gray variant sheep. In the meantime, this guy is exclusive to our display, and I think that makes him kind of sweet. Lastly, just to break up the monotony of our stone and our hill, I included some coal ore. When we connect this back to the other 2 modules, the true scale of this world really starts to set in. It's starting to get big, guys. That's it for the commentary on today's video. Thank you guys for watching, and next episode we're going to get to work on the Snowy Taiga, which was actually voted to be built next from a poll that I put on YouTube. If you want to watch that video early, you can't. You see what I did there. Cheesy Studios, he's always like, oh, if you want to watch this early, you can become a channel member right now. Well, guess what? I'm way too small to have channel members. That's why you should subscribe. Okay, thank you guys for watching, and please enjoy this week's rendering montage.